Hey everybody, welcome on in to Sports Live in the 215. We're in a bit of a different location today and this week. So my dad booked a trip to the Dominican. So I'm actually recording this in our kitchen. So bit of a different setup. But today we'll discuss the Phillies going 4-2 in their last 6 games against two teams that hope to be among the playoff teams at the end of the year. Um, yeah, um, in Texas and Cincinnati. So I I thought in the Rangers series the Phillies pitching really won them the game. Like the pitching was able to keep the Rangers at bay. While while our offense was kind of figuring it out. Um, so that was good. Sanchez game one, he was absolutely fantastic. Let's see, he went 6 innings. I want to say he allowed 6 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Let me just confirm that. Um, he was absolutely dominant. Um, I wasn't able to watch that start because I was at the Absolute Sports Performance All Star Game just to see if a few of my former teammates. Um, yeah, and it was good to be at Hartford Community. It was good to be at Hartford Community College again. My old stomping grounds. But from the looks of it, Sanchez was absolutely nasty. Um, it all of his pitches were working. Um, he just kept a really talented offense that I believe won the World Series. Yeah, won the World Series in 2023. He was able to keep them at bay. So credit to Christopher, um, and then the Phillies had a 4-1 lead heading into the top of the ninth, and you're thinking, all right, we're gonna see Joan Duran pitch, and we we didn't need him. Oh, and yes, I was right. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Um, but yeah, we didn't need Duran to pitch um in this ball game. That was absolutely huge. As a team, the Phillies only allowed 8 hits. Um, After Christopher, Strom got the 7th inning. He gave up 1 hit and struck out 1, and then Pickering went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit and struck out 3, and finally Max Lazar, who's been really good in like mop up duty this season. He went 1 inning, no hits, no walks, no home runs, obviously. Um, and he 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 did walk a batter, but that hitter did not come around to score. So all in all, really good pitching performance, and this offense gave Duran a kind of day off, even though he warmed up in the bullpen, which is huge because he actually ended up getting the save in the other 2 games of that series. So it was big to save an arm like that, and that could definitely pay dividends in about a month and a half, 2 months. So that was big by the Phillies offense, and um, let's discuss game 2. The second game of this series was a lot more of a pitcher's duel. You had Jesus Luzardo and Jacob deGrom go back and forth. It was no quarter given, no quarter taken, just a classic pitcher's duel. Luzardo went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And the Rangers starter went 6 2/3. He allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. So both starting pitchers were absolutely dominant. And then the bullpens kind of took over from there. For the Phillies, Tanner Banks went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit. That hit did not come around to score. Let me. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties here, but we're good. Yeah, and that hit that Banks gave up did not come around to score. So it's huge for a guy who's really gaining confidence, and if he can continue to round into form, he'll be a big piece for this Phillies bullpen come playoff time. So I'm excited to see what the rest of Tanner Banks' season has in store, because there were points last year where you thought he has it going, he's good, and then he has kind of a big blow up outing, and that kind of skews his numbers a good bit. So hopefully he can continue this good juju, good form that he's in, and if he does, that would be huge for this Phillies ball club. So following him, Matt Strahm went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit. He did allow an earned run, didn't walk anybody, and that earned run was on a home run. It was a solo shot, I believe, by Corey Seager, and then Joan Duran went 1 inning, struck out 1, looked absolutely dominant, and the Phillies won another series. And you hope they can kind of keep this going into the next day and earn the sweep. So with that being said, let's discuss Game 3, shall we? And in the third and final game of this series, getaway day, the Phillies sent Zach Wheeler to the mound. He was only able to go 5 innings. He scattered 3 hits, gave up 2 earned runs, 3 walks, struck out 7, did give up a home run though. Tanner Banks, another solid outing. He just continues to be a really solid piece for this Phillies bullpen, which is absolutely huge. I'm actually very shocked that he's able to, or that he was able to turn around his putrid performance from last season. Like, I mean, and that's honestly what happens with relievers. Sometimes you can have like a reliever of the year candidate one year, and then the next year, like, you're calling for a guy to be DFA'd, and then obviously you can have the inverse. You're saying like this guy sucks. He needs to be cut, and then the next year he can come back and dominate the league. So it's really just kind of weird how volatile the reliever position is in Major League Baseball. So it's good to see Tanner Banks play as well as he's been playing after some of the struggles he had last year. I'm sure it wore on his mental health. I mean, how could it not? These guys pitch at the highest level, and when you're not successful with all the media scrutiny, especially in a media market like Philadelphia, it can be tough. So credit to Tanner, and hope he keeps it up. Like I mentioned previously. So anyway, back to the game. Matt Strom followed Tanner Banks in the 7th. He went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit. That 1 hit did not score. And then Kirkering came in, went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, didn't score, and then Joan Duran, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. And your bullpen doesn't give up any runs. You're gonna win a lot of games when your bullpen can shut down the opposing offense. So credit to the Phillies bullpen that has been much maligned over the course of this year. So credit to them. And with the addition of Joan Duran, it seems like everybody's kind of slotted in their right roles. Like they know when they're gonna pitch. If if they're if they're if they're if they're able to go, like in some cases, like if they have efficient innings, they can go like the next day as well. So that's huge for a bullpen to get a piece like Duran that you have control over for the next 2.5 seasons. And it just, I feel like it just makes everybody else's, well, it does two things. One, it slides everybody into a less pressurized moment, a less impactful moment in the game, and it removes the question of, okay, who do we call on to make the save? Because with a guy like Duran, you're not gonna have you're not gonna do a whole lot of closer by committee. Like he's your 9th inning guy. Like there's no doubt about it. Like you're not gonna throw a guy who throws 103 in the 8th inning. Like it just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. I guess maybe. The only reason I could see Rob Thompson doing this is if the other team has 2, 3, 4 going batting in the 8th inning, and you need Duran to get those 3 outs. But I really do not see that happening. I think Joan Duran is your closer, and then everybody else kind of moves up a slot. So that's just the luxury of having just a dominant closer that the Phillies had, and Phillies fans know this. Like we saw this with Brad Lidge in 2008. Just his fastball slider combination was just absolutely um, incredible, and it's the same with Durant. Like he has a splinter four seam fastball, cutter, and a curveball, which somehow goes 89. I don't even know how that's scientifically possible, or how someone's arm like can like even when excuse me, even when they slow down their arm, they're still able to throw 89 miles per hour. Um, so that's absolutely insane. This guy is he's worth the price of admission. I know we got Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Although prior to his injury, he's had a rough he's had a rough season, putting it mildly. And you guys know I'm a big Nola guy, so I'm excited to see him get back. But when you have a dominant closer, like it allows the guys to slide up a spot in the rotation, and it it doesn't raise questions in the bullpen of who's coming in for the ninth. Like they already know who's coming in for the ninth with a three three run lead or less. It's Joan Duran, and to that point, like, or at that point in the game, it's like almost like the Yankees with Mariano Rivera. Lights out, good night, game over. So that's just such a luxury for both the players, or for all the players, the front office, the fans, everybody involved with the Phillies organization, knowing that they have a guy that's just absolutely absolutely shut down at that back end of the bullpen to say like screw you, this game's over. It's just such a luxury. Like you can almost, not that you would. I mean, why would you miss Joan Duran? But like you can almost sleep through the ninth inning, and you almost wouldn't miss anything because Duran hit in all three of his saves as a Philly. They've just been absolute, just breezes to sit through, and he's just such a joy to watch, man. You can just see like the joy on his face from just punching tickets and getting really high level batters, really high level hitters and players out at the major league level at a in such a dominant way is huge. Um, so yeah, with the um, with the Phillies sweeping the Texas Rangers. Let me see. Hold on, 1 second. I wanted to make one more point about this series before we move on to the debacle that was Cincinnati. The Phillies allowed a in this series versus or against the Rangers, the Phillies allowed a combined 5 runs in 3 games. So their pitching did an absolutely incredible job against a really tough Rangers offense, which, like I mentioned, has gone deep in the playoffs and has a lot of solid veteran players to go along with some really good ascending young players. So um, it was good to see from the Phillies that they showed up in all 3 games against against a quality ball club, and yeah. With that being said, let's talk about the Red Series. Following our sweep of Texas, uh, or following the Phillies sweep of Texas, excuse me, they headed to Cincinnati and quickly got a 4-1 victory on Monday against another team that is a playoff hopeful. They actually got all of their runs in the eighth inning, which again like adds to the win total, or adds to the run total in the seventh inning or later. So this team has a propensity to be just clutch when the time calls for it, and that's it's good to see from a veteran ball club like this. Is they don't make the moment bigger than it is, and it shows in their record um in the seventh inning and beyond. So yeah, I mean, with hold on, let me. Yeah, this team, they have a bunch of guys who've been to the playoffs, who've signed big contracts, who've hit big home runs. So they know how to they know how to compartmentalize and um not make the lights too bright, and not get tight when the pressure's on. So it's a credit to our pitching, but also our offense. Hold on. And yeah, I mean, um, yeah, it's really incredible what this team can do in late game situations. They're just absolutely um they're just really good in those late game situations, in those backs against the wall type of situations. They really do a good job of banding together and snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So um, yeah, unfortunately, was the only good inning for the Phillies this entire series. However, let's transition to the Phillies pitching for this first game of the series. Taijuan Walker got the start in this one. He went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 1 earned run. He did walk 1. He struck out 2, and then Jordan Romano, who ended up Jordan Jordan Romano, who ended up getting the win, went 1 inning. He struck out 1, no hits, no walks, no runs allowed. And then following him, former and current Philly in his third stint with the Fightins, David Robertson came in, went 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk and a strikeout, and then Orion Kirkering was able to nail down the save, mostly because technically Duran had thrown pitchers in 3 straight days, counting game 1 where he did warm up in the top of the 9th inning. Counting game 1 of the Texas series, I should say. So I think they just kind of wanted to get Joe on off his feet, and that's a smart move by Rob Thompson. You're gonna need that guy to have as many bullets for this stretch run and into October as he can. So that's a really good move by Rob Thompson, and it's good to see David Robertson pitch pretty well in his first appearance in a Phillies uniform. Um, that was always good. Really, this whole pitching staff in this game was absolutely on their game. They were um, they were dominant. They held a really high scoring offense to just one run. So on that for that, I definitely do commend them. And then uh, so with that being said, let's discuss the atrocities that were game 2 and game 3. And yeah, game 2 the Phillies lose 6-1. Um the offense was just absolutely non-existent. There was one meaningless run on a Bryce Harper home run, um, which obviously didn't really matter. That would be the last run the Phillies would score in this entire series. They would not score a run in they would not score a run in game 3. So that meaningless home run by Bryce Harper was the last run they would score against the Cincinnati Reds. Um, so for but yeah, the offense in game 2 and game 3 was absolutely putrid. They just they just didn't help out their starters one bit. It was absolutely brutal. Let's talk about those starters, shall we? Or let's talk about those pitchers. Um, so Ranger Suarez got the start in game 2. He went 5 and a third innings, allowed 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a home run. Um, Joe Ross went um, the rest of the 5th inning. Didn't strike out anybody, didn't walk anybody, no earned runs, um, no strike. Like, yeah, um, he he had zeros across the board for his box score, but he got us out of the 6th, and and then Max Lazar went 2 innings, allowed no hits, no earned runs, no walks. Um, and he did strike out one batter. But again, it was it was in mop up duty, just the just not the kind that Phillies fans want to see. Just kind of just finish up and get this game over with. Um, but yeah, those types of games happen, and unfortunately, more of the same was the case in game 3. So let's rip the band aid off and discuss that. And then in game 3, the Phillies sent Christopher Sanchez to the mound. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, allowed 4 runs, but 3 of which were earned. And then Jordan Romano got the first 2 outs in the 7th inning, and then Joe Ross went an inning and a third to finish finish the day for the Phillies pitching staff. This game was absolutely atrocious. Um, it was a brutal last 2 games of this series. But whatever, you gotta kind of take it and take these feelings out on Washington. So hopefully the Phillies can do that. I'll be back with you guys in a little bit to discuss the Phillies and Nationals series. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you guys for listening to this. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that YouTube stuff. And as always, go Phillies.